Hey y'all, this is Marley K. Hope everybody is well. Got some updates I need to give you. They are very important. They may seem like we're going to be all over the place, but they are together. I'm going to bring them all together for you so nobody will be deceived. They are things that we've been talking about on this channel for the past year and a half. And I just want to give you an update on what's going on because there are a lot of other things going on that I haven't really been focused on. I've been paying attention to them, but I haven't really talked about them. So let's get into it. So first of all, we're going to talk about the pandemic treaty or the pandemic agreement. They slipped and approved it, and I'm just going to read a statement from the World Health Organization's website so that you will hear from the horse's mouth, um, what their plans are, and then I can show you some other things. So, according to them, it says the member states agree on a way forward to conclude the pandemic agreement. So the World Health Assembly today recognized the progress made over the past 2 years by member states to develop a pandemic agreement and strengthen the international health regulations, IHR 2005. Governments meeting in Geneva um, for the 77th World Health Assembly are in talks to, and this means that these people have been meeting for 77 years to get to this point. And I think the fact that 77 is number of completion, so I would be deathly afraid, not afraid, but I would be paying attention this year because this means that they're ready to fast track and unleash the boogeyman on us. So we need to be prepared. So it says governments meeting in Geneva for the 77th World Health Assembly are in talks to advance these two efforts, which aim to boost the world's ability to better able to prevent and respond to the threat of future pandemics. And it makes no sense. Anyway, who member states agreed to continue to work during the World Health Assembly, which ends on June 1st, with the aim to finalize the package of amendments and agree on the timing, format, and process to conclude the pandemic agreement. So it says during today's session, they considered agenda item 13.4 on the draft. And notice you have to click on these things, so they don't tell you what they are. And to me, it doesn't matter because the whole thing is bullshit. Excuse my expression, but so I'm not gonna click on these links. And I did click on one because I want to show you something, but I'm not going through all these things. I will put a link in the comment section for you to look at this yourself. I advise everyone who is watching this to do so. Do not take my word for anything, but get your own information and your knowing and your understanding so that you can prepare for what's coming. So it says delegates acknowledged the extensive work undertaken by the member state led by international negotiating body and the bureau steering the work since governments launched the process in 2021, of course, after or during the Rona, to develop the world's first pandemic accord to prevent a repeat of the global health, economic, and social impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, which they created. Forget to leave, they leave that part out. Member states reiterated that the world needs a pandemic agreement built on principles of equity, sovereignty, and prevention, preparedness, and response, and to ensure future generations are safeguarded from the threat of inevitable future pandemics. The only way that's going to happen is if the children of the corn are removed from the planet of the earth with their pappy, because as long as they've got their foots planted on this planet, they're going to be doing stuff. So that ain't finna happen. WHA delegates also considered Agenda Item 13.3, which laid out the work undertaken to negotiate the amendments to the international health regulations to build on lessons learned from the global response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So they're basically telling you the last couple of years was a trial run. They done figured out what work, what don't, what we gonna do, what we not gonna do, what we will agree to, what we won't agree to, who the problems are. And so now they are going back behind the curtain. They're gonna insert all the stuff that they've learned, and then it's gonna be official. They're getting ready to put the lockdowns on us, and we only be getting the whammies. Um, so it says member states stressed that agreement on updated and stronger international regulations were essential for ensuring global health security. Don't nobody need them to secure none. That was God for. But anyway, so I want to show you the treaty. So this is the treaty. Let me close this. And this is the World Health Organization 77th World Health Assembly. This was drafted or put out on May 27th, 2024. So now this is supposed to be an agreement or instrument on pandemic prevention, preparedness, and response. But I typed in climate just for the hell of it because I'm so busy. Okay, so let me read you what it says in climate. This is on page 7, and I will include a link in the comment section for this as well, so that you can read this whole thing yourself. You need to look at this document because this document is going to tell you what in the hell they're going to do to us when we lock down. What is going to happen. Now, it may not lay out the finite rules for your nation. It may not, lay out the finite rules for your state. But overall, if a nation has signed on to this, then some way, some shape, some form, you're going to see some of the implications of that in your area. So you need to read it. I'm not going to read it all because I don't have no time for these folks to be getting on my butt. I'm just going to read a couple things to you so that you can see where um, the pandemic and climate are getting ready to merge. And then I'm going to show you something else so that you can kind of get your head wrapped around what's getting ready to happen. Now, these two things are not going to um, exclude anything else that's going on, but I'm just going to, I'm showing you how this lockdown national emergency declaration is going to come about. And then we got all the things that we have talked about on this channel concerning how they're going to collect us, round us up, and punish us due to persecution. We already talked about that stuff, but I just want to show you this is where they're going. In my opinion, I got my tinfoil hat on. I see it happening this year based on the things that they are doing with the weather, based on HARP, based on CERN, based on that frequency thing they got down there in Antarctica. It's some things going on, y'all, that is wild. These radars that they're creating this storm, they're spraying this stuff in the sky, these chemtrails and contrails that's heating up the clouds, heating up the earth. It's almost like it's two atmospheres. It's an atmosphere below the clouds, and then it's an atmosphere above the clouds, and all sorts of things are happening. So it's wild weather happening all over the earth, like in South America, Australia, Africa. They're having earthquakes in places they never had earthquakes before, tornadoes, torrential rains. Every time these frequencies goes off within, a couple of hours and days, just these dramatic things are happening. Then you look at each continent they have these weapons. So like everybody on the planet is in on it. This is what we need to understand, regardless of politics, regardless of how you feel. Everybody is in confederacy to do this stuff on behalf of the adversary in order to stay in power, in order to yeet as many of us Yasharel as they can to catch us off guard and unaware. So what I'm talking about is not being deceived. What I'm talking about is protecting yourself, being prepared, knowing when it's time to shut up in your house, being prepared for a lot of different things. So when I was telling you about being prepared for weather and illness and all these different things, I wasn't BSing. I seen this coming, but I wasn't sure how it was going to all come together, but I see it now. So I'm trying to explain it to you. Okay, so in this treaty here, try to blow it up. So it says stressing that adequate. This is 16, and I don't know if this is. Let me go back to. This is the parties to the WHO pandemic agreement, and every place that has something to do with climate is highlighted. So this is why you see the highlights in here. So this says, let me go back to page 7. Okay, so if you see, wait a minute, 7. Okay, so wherever you see red, right, like here, this is where they'll be talking about climate. So on page 7 in 17, it says recognizing the importance of public health impact of growing threats such as climate change, poverty and hunger, fragile and vulnerable settings, weak primary health care, and the spread of antimicrobial resistance. So I found this very interesting for a number of things because one, it does not have nothing climate, don't have nothing to do with this virus stuff unless they planning on putting it in the clouds and having it blow everywhere. I don't know what these people are doing, but I found that interesting that they managed to throw climate in here. And it's on page 7. It's at the very beginning, and it's only mentioned one time, but they made sure that they put it in this document. So this is the thing that binds the pandemic health treaty, health, the pandemic preparedness and climate. So they have married the two. Um, Poverty, hunger, all these social issues, weak primary health care, and the spread of antimicrobial resistance. Now, this is very interesting because they're putting antimicrobial resistant stuff in everything that we eat. Medicine is in the leafy greens. Medicine is in the poultry and meat. And I'm sorry, I've done videos on that. I did one, I think it was taken down, so it's probably on Rumble. But there is another one that I disputed, and it is about how they have been injecting stuff in the poultry, the lollipops. So they talk about this resistance, but they don't tell people that the meat that they're eating is vaccinated, which is why everything is resistant. You can't get anything um, to treat you if you have some type of bacterial infection or some type of infection, because everything we eat has antibacterial this, that, and another. We use antibacterial hand soap and hand sanitizers and all these things to kill bacteria. So when we get sick, now we can't fight off nothing. And guess what? Now we need their cures. So this is how they're going to get this stuff in us. I got to talk in code. But what I want y'all to do is make sure that you're eating healthy, trying to eat local, trying to make certain that you are building up your immune systems, taking your vitamins, getting outside, grounding yourself, being in the sun, doing all the things that you can do, exercising, getting your lung health in order, losing weight if you're obese, um, getting off of these medications. Like, medications for things that are controllable. Like if you know you like to eat a whole bunch of pork and you prefer to have high cholesterol and high blood pressure and just eat the pork, how about stop eating the pork, lose some weight, Drink some water. Like, oh, your grandma used to say, just drink some water, it'll be okay. Get yourself in order because things are getting ready to happen, and they get ready to do something within the next 2 quarters, to say that. It's already June. By the time September, October comes, they're going to meet again in September, and this is going to be an economic forum, some type of international economic thing. But all these things are tied together. When they finalize all these different pieces, they're going to pull the rug from under us. But all these treaties will already be in place, and there won't be anything that we can do about it. So what we have to do is prepare for what comes with resistance, for what comes with refusing the beast. We have to prepare for the persecution. We have to, just in case it comes, we may miss us, but we don't know. You got to prepare for your families to pressure you. You got to prepare for people to be acting crazy, because people going to really start acting crazy during this next lockdown, because it's not going to be like the first one. It's going to be a whole lot worse. You got to prepare for the zombies, because I'm like, people going to be acting crazy, even people in your own house, people in your family. Again, 2020, 2021 was a dry run for what is getting ready to come. So you saw how people behaved about toilet paper and social distancing, masks, stuff like that. It's going to be 10 times worse. They know it. Um, I don't think their plans are going to go off the way that they want to, because a lot of people are awakened and a lot of the truth is coming out for whatever reason, but I don't even think they care. The stuff about these gene therapies and all this other stuff, that stuff is out. They're having meetings about it. People are talking about it. People are fighting back. Here in the United States, you got governors opposing the treaty and all this different stuff. So it's just kind of setting the stage for civil war, which is the next thing we have to worry about. So we're going to have all these things that we have to worry about at one time, and it is going to be ugly. Trust me. But as long as we have knowledge and wisdom, we have the foresight. We got our watchmen, we got our prophets, we got our elders. People are out here spreading the word. They're in their lanes. They're warning you. Even Esau and them talk. Esau and them sick of themselves. They telling on each other. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But I just want to show you how um, these people have basically accounted, they've created all these different problems, and they have accounted for all these problems that they created, and then they have done all these pilots and tests and this social engineering and this research over the last couple of years about our behavior and how we talk and communicate. And so they've placed all these considerations in this treaty, which is why it's really important for you to read it. So this is the document again. I will include it in the comment section. Now, I must jump from here because I'm talking about climate in the pandemic treaty, which don't make no sense, but nothing that's happening now makes any sense. And I'm getting ready to switch to weather, because I'm getting ready to show you how the pandemic and the climate change agendas are going to collide, likely in September, October, because that will be the height. August, September, October is like the height of hurricane season. And so once you see this, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So this is Into Thin Air's most recent video about this Antarctica anomaly that continues to happen almost every week, sometimes bi-weekly, but it's creating storms all over the globe. It's creating earthquakes. And keep in mind, this anomaly is heavily involved with climate, the weather, climate, which is tied to this pandemic treaty. So
We got a good one for you. Not only did we see the Antarctic anomaly again, but it was followed by a major devastating weather event in another part of Africa. You're looking at video from Algeria right now, which took place yesterday. Wait till you hear this. All right, my friends, welcome back. It is June 5th, 2024, and yesterday, 24 hours ago, we had.
And so notice one thing. Um, they're directing these things at Africa. Why now? And I'm sure if you're awakened, you know why. Because they want to recolonize Africa, because they want to get rid of as uh, get rid of as many of those people as they can, because that's the goal. Depop is the goal, and because the resources are there. So of course they're going to do all these things really quickly and displace people, starve people, you're ruining crops, you're killing animals, you're killing people. So it's a lot of stuff happening all over the world. You got to pay attention to what is happening, because this is how they're gonna, the whole world gonna come together and give their power to the beast at one time. So you got climate, you got pandemic, and you got economic, and you got war happening at one time. All these things are gonna cause people to cry out to the adversary for help, because they've gotten people addicted to welfare. People think somebody's supposed to hand them something, always help them, and that's because they don't understand how the Most High's word works and instructs us to take care of each other and not rely on a king or a system to take care of us, especially Israel. He ain't really talking to the heathen, he's talking to us. But our people are addicted to other people's kings, and so we get other people's problems. If we would be obedient, obey the law, statutes, and commandments, we wouldn't have these issues. But that's neither here nor there. Let me get back to this.
Had a small pop-up of the Antarctic anomaly, which proves they have not fixed this yet, but they are able to remove it now because it is gone. It began at 8 a.m. on the 4th, went through the 11th, and disappeared by 2 p.m. And it looked exactly
Okay.
like this, the one we saw from May 9th, which could have began around the 6th or 7th, which would be 1 month ago to the day, moves through 2 p.m. and then 5 p.m. and then I believe by 8 p.m. it is gone. So the same exact thing happened yesterday. We had an Antarctic anomaly, and you're not going to believe what happened after that. Within hours of the Antarctic anomaly, we had multiple large earthquakes by some familiar places. Twice already while we've had the anomaly, we've had buoys go off in this area near western Chile. This earthquake, a 5.5, was 19 hours ago. So right after the anomaly, we had a small group of quakes 22 hours ago. So even closer to when the anomaly went off the Easter Island region, a very important place as far as Earth energy. And then we had just a few hours ago a 5.5 downgraded from a 5.9 3 hours ago by the South Sandwich Islands. And then take a look at this. We had a swarm in South Africa 14 hours ago of multiple 3.0 and 3.2 earthquakes. That's not it. And then 5 hours ago, a 5.1 in Kokanda, Angola, also part of Africa. My friends, that is not it. You're not going to believe what just took place in Algeria. This would be the eighth, yes, the eighth time that we are seeing a devastating weather event in Africa within 24 hours of the Antarctic anomaly. This is the visuals coming from Algeria today. I just posted it on the X account. And if you look here, just in the months of April and May alone, each time we saw the anomaly, it was followed by a devastating weather event.
Okay, so you see this weather pattern here. Then you have things that are happening on the earth naturally, like it's getting ready to be hurricane season. So now that the water is already warmer than normal and it's hurricane season, and then they're doing this. So whatever was happening naturally is going to be amplified. So this year, Florida is probably going to have devastating hurricanes, and whatever remnants come up the coast will be devastating. In addition to, they are shooting stuff into the clouds, and then they got the radars heating up stuff in the storms. So it's making the tornadoes stronger, twirl backwards, like all kinds of crazy stuff is happening. So we don't know where we're gonna be. We don't know what's gonna happen. Honey, you need rain boots, you need a boat, you need life vests. You need everything. You need your stuff put away safely. You really need to put stuff like in bins in case where you live flood, so that if you have to um if your stuff, your house floods, your stuff won't will be okay. We got a lot of stuff we gotta be worried about. And I mean, I'm not saying like we physically know it could happen, so you should plan.
whether it be Africa and also the devastating weather in Brazil. That lined up exactly with the April 25th anomaly, and now we are dealing with one from yesterday, causing this insane weather right here in Algeria, which happens to be the exact area that these massive storms will roll off Africa into the Atlantic Ocean by the Cape Verde Islands and then become hurricanes. This is exactly what we've been looking for, these storms to start taking place in northern Africa, and we are already seeing waves of energy.
Okay, so now think about this. They done cancel folks homeowners insurance in Florida. They've been doing it for the last 2 years, last minute. People can't get insured. It's hurricane season. Or if people aren't sure, the homeowners insurance and the mortgages have gone up so that people are about to lose their homes. So even if they get paid off, like it's just getting ready to be a whole ass mess all over the country. People are going to lose stuff and not have anything to be able to replace what's been lost because the insurance is going to cancel. They're not going to pay off. Or if they pay off, they're not going to give you enough money for you to replace what's been destroyed because it's already overvalued. So guess what you're going to do? You gonna own nothing and be happy with living a rented life, a real rented life, and getting Soylent Green and eating bugs and living in a 15-minute city. It's coming.
Energy moving in towards the United States and the Gulf. We could see this right here. Possibly as early as next week, we could see a significant hurricane within the Gulf. My friends, I can't stress this enough. This Antarctic anomaly has everything to do with the significant weather going on in Africa and probably a lot more. Time and time again, this thing is lining up exactly with major weather events in the continent of Africa, as well as South America and also the North Atlantic Ocean. Now, we're not allowed to say that we can forecast earthquakes here on X or you get a community note, but if you visualize this, we've seen those pulses come out that look like fingers. They stick out in different directions. Check out this line of earthquakes right here. It almost looks like a perfect line, and then we can go up in the other direction and see a perfect line of earthquakes as well. 2 hours ago, this was 7 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 3 hours ago, which kind of gives us that energy line going straight up in this direction. We basically proved that when we had the same situation take place with energy being pushed out to the east towards Australia with a lot of earthquake activity in this area here. My friends, you could almost read this stuff like a book. It is happening again, and we need to get the word out so people know what to expect when these things happen. All right, my friends, keep your eyes on Vent2 Sky still. They have not removed these anomalies, and they are still popping up, and they're trying to remove them in real time. It's time to show them what's up, my friends. I appreciate you all. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.
All right, and this is a Gentile who is spilling the tea. So like people are watching and paying attention and like, hey, they're lying, telling us lies. So the few of us who are paying attention and are watching, we have to know soon. They're going to take down the internet soon. A lot of stuff is going to happen. We're not, they can't take it down yet because if you take down the communications, nobody can be afraid because we won't know what's going on. So, excuse me, there's a lot of stuff going on and we have to keep watch. So, now, again, remember, pandemic treaty and the climate agenda have now been merged. It is included in the treaty. And today I get something from uh, um, the House of Representatives. And it basically says that Ranking Member Waters, Senator Warren, and 36 lawmakers urged the SEC to remain focused on the climate risk. Investors need access to climate risk disclosures that are reliable, standardized, and easily accessible to properly assess the risks associated with their investments. So all this stuff is coming out on the same day. So if you think everything ain't timed, so it says the lawmakers are asking the SEC to firmly state it will ensure previous climate related rules and guidance, including its 2010 guidance, are thoroughly enforced. The lawmakers are also asking the SEC to remind issuers that U.S. companies that are subject to the alternative climate related disclosure regimes must comply with those reporting regimes, including those from California and the European Union, as well as those put forth by the International Sustainability Standards Board, ISSB. So anyway, everything is working in concert. Their plans are going on as scheduled. Everybody is on they are working together collaboratively to be on time for their 2025 agenda plans. You better be getting your stuff together. You better be thinking about all kinds of things, measures and countermeasures and risk management and how you're going to do this. And this is that time. We don't have much time, but if you just think you're going to have one little thing to worry about, just the economic collapse, you're going to have a lot of stuff to worry about, especially if you live close to water or in a area that has like very volatile weather or seasonal weather, like on the coastlines of the Gulf and Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean, or any ocean for that matter. So it's getting ready to be some wild times. I just wanted to touch bases on this and let y'all know that they're moving, they're doing things behind the scenes, and most people are not paying attention. But because here we read and we woke, we're going to talk about it. Anyway, just want to share this with y'all. All the links to everything will be in the description. I'm sorry, not in the description. They'll be in the comment section. I don't put nothing in the description like this because all they do is flag it and the shadow ban it. So it still may be shadow banned, but if you read it, please make sure you like this, share it on social media. Make sure that you share among uh, Black people, our community, so that they will be prepared and understand nobody's coming to save you because they want us to be gone. They want our stuff to be destroyed. They want us to need them because that's part of the goal. They either want you to not be prepared and get rid of you, but if you happen to survive, you're going to need them. So the goal is to not need them. Rely on the Most High, rely on the wisdom that you have been given, and then go from there. All right, this is Marla Kay, and I'm out.